Hello everyone, welcome to my session. I am Caroline and I'm a program manager at Microsoft Azure PlayFab. Today we'll be learning about how to use PlayFab Party to integrate networking and voice into your game. So the goal for today is to give you a better understanding of what PlayFab Party is, ways it can help you integrate multiplayer networking and chat into your title, as well as where to go for getting set up and downloading the latest versions of PlayFab Party. So first of all, what is PlayFab Party? Party is a real-time multiplayer networking and communication middleware solution for games. It encompasses a low-latency secure data transport for authentication and encryption of all your communication, be it management data, game data, or real-time communication. Party has it all covered. Party has automatic connection through our low-latency cloud relays from any of our Azure-backed relays distributed all over the world, or you can select the regions that you specifically want. There is built-in support for unidirectional voice and text chat, with additional accessibility features such as speech-text, text-to-speech, translation, and our newest addition, text moderation, which I'll dive deeper into later in this presentation. So what is PlayFab Party typically used for? Well, there are three scenarios that I'll be going into more detail in the next few slides. On a high level, there are in-game multiplayer data where people send data throughout the game session, multiplayer game session. There's the pre-game, post-game voice and text chat where, in your lobbies or matchmaking scenario, people are getting ready for the game, or post-game, they're chatting after. And there's the in-game voice and text chat. So now the first scenario is using Party for in-game multiplayer networking. This is where everyone is playing together and the game logic, state data, etc. is being passed around. So viewing this diagram, you can see that we have various types of devices. We have the PC, console, mobile, all playing together. So this is what Party is proud of. We enable people from different devices all play together, and it's important to not bifurcate our players and promote growth in our cross-platform system. So you can send game data between players and devices over our cross-platform mesh. Games that do not require a cloud-hosted dedicated game server are a great fit for Party secure multiplayer networking. This is when you can leverage Party's managed relay solutions and don't need to pay for cloud-hosted dedicated servers. There are titles today that ship on Party using game modes like co-op, used to quickly spin up networking and chat parties cheaply. They also make use of their own custom network for more complex modes. And in these modes, they can still take advantage of Party's chat solution for simple cross-platform voice and text. So now let's dive a little deeper into the pre-post-game scenario. So in this scenario, there are two groups. We have the Friends Party, encompassing players 1, 2, and 3. And we have the Fireteam Party. Players 4 and 5 are in the Fireteam Party. So these two parties, they're chatting among themselves pre-game. They're two completely different parties. And now we have seamlessly transitioned our players over to a new network. In this example, I've shown that the title can remove players 1, 2, and 3 from their original Friends Party. And now they belong to this new party. But players 4 and 5 are still in the previous Fireteam Party. So you can be in multiple parties at once. That's totally allowed. And this way, players 4 and 5 can get back to their fire team once this multiplayer event is over very quickly and easily. So Party allows very flexible scenarios like these. So how do PlayFab party networks actually work? Well, the party network is a collection of endpoints, which could be a single device, a player, or some other entity. The title has the flexibility to decide what is an endpoint in their game. So messages can be sent reliably or unreliably, sequentially or non-sequentially over our low latency UDP connections. Overall, Party makes it extremely flexible and efficient to manage your sends. There is also broadcast or target select endpoints. One benefit over UDP packet relay is that we minimize network bandwidth by sending one message up and let a relay send down to the other endpoints. We also have DTLS encryption, the most secure and the latest encryption. There is also the geo-distributed Azure relays. So our networks are hosted on Azure, which takes care of getting user connected and handling issues like net traversal and providing DDoS protection. So creating a network is pretty straightforward. It is your opportunity to configure some of the most important security and resource settings for your game. So first, you initialize an empty network descriptor to hold the result of the following call, and you create a network descriptor. So here you configure local user, network config, region list count, and the region list is where you can override. You can select what Azure regions you would like to use if you don't want to just use the default that Party provides based on latency measurements. There's invitation, configuration, async identifier. I won't go through all of them, but this is a pretty straightforward way to create a Party network. After successfully creating a network, you'll get a network descriptor that acts as the address that you and the other game clients will use to connect to this new network. Now that we created a Party network, how does voice chat actually work? Well, it is accomplished by creating a collection of chat controls, which is the management class for all local chat operations. A title creates a chat control on the local device for each user on the device. Usually it's a single user, but sometimes we also see multiple users signing in on the same device. So we do allow different users from one single device. So we want to make it super flexible. And then a title decides when a network or network's chat control is part of and connects to it. And once a Party chat control is added to the network, it becomes visible to all other chat controls in the network, and then they in turn become visible to it. So once they're connected, and voice is automatically sent and received securely over the Party network. There is no coding, extra coding required after that. So now let's look at the fun part of who sees and hears what. So Party's relationship is unidirectional. That means that the chat controls allow you to customize any matrix of relationships in a multiplayer game. So the most common scenarios that we see are push to talk. You see this often on PC where you can hold the key to speak. And this gives the user more power and control when they want to be heard. And you release the key and you will not be heard anymore. Now, the next scenario we see is channels and teams. This is where you want to collaborate within your own team. So you only want to talk within your own team. You don't want to talk to enemy teams, even if they're within scope. And we have broadcast, where you want to quickly talk to everybody in scope and revert back to only talking to your team, for example. That's also very easy to do on Party. And whisper is when you highlight a person to send audio only to them while still receiving audio from the rest of the team or group, and then move to sending back to all instantly. So this is, another pretty cool scenario that we see. So I would highlight that these are all very easy to switch on the fly. Say if you want to change the matrix or the chat control relationships during the game or on the fly, it's not a very heavy lift operation. So now let's take a look at some code to set up your chat controls. So first, you would retrieve your local device, and then you'll create a chat control for the local user on the local device. You will specify things like local user object language, async identifier, local chat control. And then after creation, you can set default input-output using system default values through party device selection types. Default permissions is none, and as remote users, after that, after you connect chat control to the network, and as remote chat control is added, you would set chat permissions to remote chat control. And as remote users are added to the network, you maintain a list of chat controls and control permissions between users. We can look at couple scenarios on the next slide. So these are the scenarios I mentioned in the previous 2 slides ago. Here's how you can control permissions between users. The first scenario, push to talk, is fairly easy. You basically allow a local audio when the key is pushed, and you would mute the local mic when it's not pushed. And next scenario is talking within teams. So this is fairly straightforward as well. Say A and B are a team. They want to talk to each other. So you would enable their send audio, receive text. You would enable all these within for A and B. And next we have do not talk to enemies. Deny communication with opponents. So say C and D are A's opponents. We would just disable communication to C and D, chat control C, chat control D, and set everything to none. And last but not least, we have whisper, where A wants to whisper to B in the lobby. So say they're A, B, C, D, so it's a continuation of the previous scenarios. A would just simply disable communication to C and D, and this way A can just whisper to B and no one else can hear it. Now, one of my favorite parts of Party is our dedication to support our Gaming for Everyone initiative. This is our effort to cultivate an inclusive gaming culture in our ecosystem. We want to be inclusive. We want to have everyone playing, no matter where they are, despite their disability. We want to include everyone. So we have support for speech to text, which takes a user's audio and converts it into transcribed text to be rendered on screen. And we have text to speech, which is the opposite. We take a user's text input and create a synthesized audio stream to be rendered to other participants in the headset. So this gives voice to those who are otherwise unable or prefer not to speak. And I think this is super powerful. Recently, Azure has launched a neural technology to synthesize speech that's even more realistic. So we are leveraging that technology as well. And we have translation. This is also something that Party Cognitive Services provides. Speech text translation, which is super important. Later on, I have a demo on this. It's super cool. This allows users all over the world to play together. They can speak to their microphone, and you, as the other players, you can see the translated text in your own language on your screen in real time. With text-to-text translation, of course. And our new moderation service. This is something that I'm super proud of. Our team has worked on this very hard in the past year. And I'll dive deeper into this in the later slides. I also want to point out that our Azure Cognitive Services supports over 60 languages. And last but not least, Party also automatically captures device selection to give players a smooth gaming experience. Now, let's look at this cool Sea of Thieves screenshot. I'm the captain steering the boat, and say I am in a quiet place. I don't have my headphones. I don't want to play any audio out. So, but I can hear my teammates. What do? Well, Sea of Thieves makes it really easy by leveraging Party's speech-to-text transcription feature. You see on the upper left of the screen, I see the transcription of what people are saying in real time. So if they're asking me to fix the boat, I can quickly go do that all in real time. So it's super, super cool. It enables you to play your favorite game anywhere. And this is also a great feature for people with disability or people in needs. So we are definitely very proud of this feature. Here we have another sample of our translation feature. So without further ado, let me play this sample.
Hey guys.
Hello, Minasai.
Bonjour, comment ça va? Which ships do you want to be?
Ich nehme das rote Schiff.
D'accord. Cool.
So here you can see that people in different countries speaking different languages can all play together and communicate and be a team together. Now let's dive into Party Text Moderation. I'm super, super excited about this new addition to the feature set this year. Moderation is our next step towards inclusive gaming and our Gaming for Everyone mission. It's an extension of the existing text chat APIs. And like I said, Azure Cognitive Services is the backbone of our offering. So what are some use cases? Well, as the name sounds, moderation is for moderating toxicity in the gaming environment. Say if people curse and you don't like that, you can, ideally, you should be able to tune that out. So Party Chat Moderation offers two main scenarios. The first one is for individuals to opt into text moderation. And the second one, big umbrella, is for titles to decide. So let's dive into the first one. For individuals to opt into text moderation, as the individual player, I can decide my personal preferred level, be it family-friendly, medium, mature. It's up to me. Say if I'm playing in a game with a bunch of other people. I personally feel like my tolerance is medium, but there's probably some kids or other adults in the same multiplayer game that probably have different tolerances. And we can all have different tolerances. It doesn't really matter. The Party Text Moderation allows us to all put in our threshold, and the filtered text will come in according to my preferred level. So I think that's a super cool, flexible thing that the users can do. For the title scenario, this is when, say if you're developing a title that's kids friendly, you probably want to put the default or enforce text moderation for all players to be family friendly. So we have, like I said, we have 3 different tiers: family friendly, medium, and mature. So on the title level, you can default or enforce text moderation filtering for all child players and teen players. It's probably medium, and all players in general. So how do you use party text moderation? It is awesome. You only need a 1-line code change and you're in. You don't need to set up a new account or service config. We have all that handled on our end. You don't need to contact us. You just basically light it up using this line. My local chat control and set text chat options to filter offensive text. This is how you can opt into filtering on the chat control. And to opt out is also pretty straightforward. You just put the chat option to none. So how do you actually send and receive filtered text? There is no change needed if you're already using text messaging on Party. You send text simply by calling my local chat control, and when receiving filtered text, you can also have a few options. You can have the flexibility of getting the original text along with the filtered text, if you will. So it's extremely flexible. Now let's look at a sample of our text moderation. I hope you enjoyed that sample. As you saw, we were fully protected from the bad words. They're filtered out, and we don't have to see those on our screens, which is perfect. And I want to mention that this sample is called Net Rumble. It's one of the samples that we offer when you onboard. This will make your life easier to look at all the party features, how we implement it. And this is the same sample that we saw earlier in the translation sample. Now, Party provides a fully supported development environment. We have seamless integration with Unreal and Unity game engines. This will drastically cut down your development time. Our cross-platform C++ API has support for Windows, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, iOS, Android, and Google Stadia. It is also easy to navigate compliance requirements with our Xbox Live Helper library. So this is something that we want to make our developers' life easier, and this will definitely make your life a lot easier. So to kind of sum up what I talked about today, Party's cool features. Party provides a single cohesive cross-platform solution. Everything's built into the product by design and by default. Data, voice, text on the same network, low latency, encrypted and protected, cross-network, cross-platform. Federated identity is something that I want to highlight. It's something that PlayFab just offers in general. It's very awesome. You can sign in using your PlayStation, PSID, NID on the Nintendo, Xbox Live account on Xbox consoles, and under the cover, PlayFab will have a federated ID to get them all together. We have Azure support in 16 geo-distributed regions, built-in speech-to-text and text-to-speech, built-in support for chat translation, real-time audio manipulation, hardware accelerated audio. These are all cool things that Party provides. So where can you actually go and download the SDKs? We have a list of our Party SDKs on our documentation site, which is this link here. You can also just search in your browser. You can quickly find it. We have, sorted by platform, all these different platforms that we support and the libraries for each platform. You can follow the comprehensive documentation, samples, and quick start guides to get you started. Now, where can you enable Party specifically on the Game Manager? So Game Manager is PlayFab's user interface for our developers. So Game Manager has everything PlayFab. Party is just a part of it. So for Party specifically, you would go to Game Manager, the developer.playfab.com, sign in or create an account, click on the multiplayer tab. On the left, the screenshot is a bit small. But on the left, you can see that the third tab is multiplayer. We click on that, and Party is on the top. So you click on Party and then click Enable. This is how you will enable Party for your title. All right, some final thoughts. Party supports the same API on all your platforms. It's built on the reliability and global reach of Azure, and we're proud of our set of gaming for everyone features. So thank you for your time today, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions.